Okay, so welcome to the next session of Real Talk with Karen Monique. Today, I just been around the house cleaning up, nothing big, so that's why I'm all kind of sorted looking. Anyway, I just really am glad that I got some love for my first video. Kind of motivated me to go ahead and start this video. Um, Today I want to discuss um this is one of many discussions regarding single motherhood in my eyes and in my opinion. People always seem to define a single mother as a mother that just is only one parent in the home, which is true. That's true. But I mean, there are different ways people end up being single mothers. I know for myself, I ended up being a single mom when I had my son, and his father and I were still dating, and he started to break away and not spend a lot of time with him. So I kind of became a single mom by default. We weren't married, and that's why I honestly, this is my plug. Yes, I'm getting on my soapbox here. Be married. I know it's hard. It's 2012. I mean, sex is everywhere, and the temptation is everywhere. Be married when you have those babies, because one thing I will say is 3 years, they still bounce. It happened to me. 5 years, they will bounce. I've even heard of married women saying their husbands have changed. But most likely, when you're not married, they're bound to change. Um, I know for myself, I have some struggles where, some months it's like, ooh, money is really, really tight. And like now I'm going through that, like, okay, I have to decide if I want to do A or if I want to do B. Or if I do C, where A and B are both an option, but we just have to kind of delay things. But it's all in how you look at it. If you look at single motherhood as, oh, well, I'm stuck here raising this baby while he out there having fun, then it's not going to be a good, pleasurable experience for you. But if you look at it in the aspect that I look at it in, I look at it as his loss. And so if him or any of his friends are watching this, just know I look at it as your loss. It's not a loss. It's not a hurt to me. It's your loss. I was angry. For a long time, I was very angry about how everything turned out, like, because nothing was ever explained to me. There were so many lies that were told and things that came out in the open all at once. I just didn't know how to handle it, and I felt like if God wouldn't have been in my life, some things would have went down that wouldn't have been so good. But I basically, I had to do a lot of praying and a lot of forgiving. I forgive you. I mean, that's all I can say. I forgive you. But I look at it like, this is all a learning experience. Um, I was 25 when I had Warren. Warren is my son, by the way. I was 25 when I had him. Some people are younger, some people are older. But I was hard on myself when I found out I was pregnant. I felt like I'm 25. This shouldn't have happened to me. I know better. I know this. I know that. And I knew, okay, well, I'm with his dad. We're dating. We're together. We've been in a relationship almost 2.5 years. So I was like, well, I feel like he's going to have my back. He's going to do this for me. He's going to do that for me. And we're always going to be together, blah, blah, blah. But then as my pregnancy progressed, things started changing. Like, it was just crazy. You see a crazy change with people when y'all have a mutual responsibility. Now, while you're out there having fun, partying, going to clubs, house parties, bars, whatever you're doing, you in college, you having a fun life and all of that. And as long as you aren't doing better than them, y'all gonna do fine. But when you start having mutual responsibilities like a baby, B decide to move in together, which I'm gonna do a segment on that. It might step on some toes, but I'm gonna tell you why I believe what I believe. Um, and B, I just feel like any mutual responsibility you have with a person, sometimes they change. Sometimes they change for the better. I've known people to change for the better, and sometimes they change for the worse. Or sometimes it's not a change; it's that their true colors show. Um, I believe that Warren's father just doesn't know what to do and doesn't know how to be a father, and that's okay. But what is not okay is for me to talk negatively to Warren about his dad or anything of that nature because I'm not going to do that. I mean, this is going to offend people, and like I said in my first video, no offense, but I don't care if it offends you. Um, I don't talk about his dad at all to him because he's out of sight, out of mind. I look at it like this: like you have the opportunity to come and visit him. You can come and visit him. You can take the time out to come and visit him, but you don't, and you choose not to. I'm not the barrier. In some instances, the woman is the barrier, which I will tell you, unless the guy is a pedophile, which is another story, because if you knew he was a pedophile, why would you lay down in the bed with him? Unless he is a murderer, unless he's doing things that are going to harm that child, don't keep him from that child. If you want to get with him and you using a child as the pawn, that is the stupidest thing a woman could do. It's so stupid to me how many baby mamas, that's why us single mothers get a bad name, the baby mamas or whatever, um, because you want to get back at the man by not letting the man see his children or his child. Like, really? Like, I think that's stupid. Your relationship with your child is your relationship with your child. But when your child's father, and this is talking to the women, or some single fathers, when the other parent wants to reach out and have a relationship with them, you should allow it, but set certain parameters. And that's how I feel, and that's what I'm doing. If his dad were to call me today and say, hey, Saturday I want to see Warren, I'm going to find out specifics. I'm going to have my restrictions. You can't take him this place. You can stay here and we'll see him. This, that, and the third. But I'm not going to sit there. I'm not even going to tell my son the whole week, your daddy's coming to see you. Your daddy's coming to see you. Because if he doesn't, even though Warren is a year and a half old, I'm sure, like people say right now, it doesn't have an effect on him. But I'm sure not having his father in his life really will have an effect on him. And that's kind of, I used to beat myself up about that. But I realized my actions are my actions, and Warren's dad's actions are his actions. They're his actions. He's going to have to be held accountable for that. Not me. Not me, because I've never pushed him away. Now, I've never thrown Warren on him either. Like, you got to come get your son. You better do this. You better do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go down to the court. I'm going to do this. Nope. Yes, and this is the truth. So if any of his friends, like I said, confidants, anybody who wants to relay messages, relay the right message because it came from my mouth. I just went downtown, got my paperwork, filled it out, and summonses were sent. Letters were sent. I didn't threaten. I didn't go on tangents. I just did what I had to do. And one of my friends and I were having a discussion, and she was like, I'm struggling so bad. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I told her, I said, child support is to help your child. You don't have child support out for him. You don't have to struggle as bad. You need to go get the child support. And she made every excuse. Well, he might not pay this, that, and the third. That's on him. You did what you were supposed to do. Because I used to be kind of naive. Like, I felt like because the person that Warren's dad portrayed himself to be while we were dating, I felt like, oh, I would never have to put him on papers. He will always give me money when I need it. He'll always do this. If I need him to watch Warren, he'll be there. He'll do this. He'll do that. I was so disenchanted and so in love. Oh my gosh. Got sobered up real quick when things started getting real. When I moved out, things were okay. I did not let him live with me, which I'm glad I didn't because for one, that just wouldn't have worked. Because as of now, January 3rd was the last time that he seen his dad, that Warren's dad had seen him. So that means he would try to bounce, back and forth between my house or wherever. Not to say he was out there cheating, which I don't know. And once I feel once you lie to me once, You could be lying about a plethora of things. I don't know. But I feel like I'm glad I made the decision that I made as far as him not living with me because I didn't need that. Like that would have been added stress. Like, what if all of this would have gone down and he stopped slowing up seeing him and all of this, and I would have moved him in, and I would have been relying on his portion of the rent, and now he's gone. And then, I just forced myself to be more independent, and I do find myself having to pick up a lot of slack that I ordinarily wouldn't have to pick up if there were two parents in the picture. Like, my family is the real reason why a lot of things get done as far as like, okay, me being able to go to school. I go to school on the weekends, and my mother and father keep him on the weekends. His godmother, she loves to shop, and she really blesses him and blesses me by buying basically all of his wardrobe. And my mom and his godmom made it clear we're gonna buy his clothes. I'm like, wow, that's a big burden off of me. But as far as time, when I want personal time, I generally get my personal time. And that's another thing, single moms. Like, I know you feel like, well, I have all these kids, or I have kids. I don't deserve personal time. I'm never going to get personal time. You have to make personal time because even though your family may help you, you are all that your child has. And if your mental is not right, and you don't have that time to say, okay, I know for the next whatever block of time, I'm going to be able to do this and do stuff as hard as it may be, do some things that you enjoy doing that are not child related. Like if you like to blog like right now. I'm using my time to this episode. So it's kind of like you do what you enjoy when you have your time, and you always have to make that time. And if you don't know anybody that can say, you can say, hey, I trust you to watch my children, or can you take my children? Sometimes we got to make that sacrifice. I know at one point I was looking for somebody to just in case my parents couldn't watch Warren, to watch him if I needed to have that personal time. And sometimes that is a sacrifice we have to make. But in order for you to be the most constant, consistent, and positive thing in your child's life, you got to take care of you. That's another reason I want to lose weight because that's gonna put a lot on me if I don't lose this weight. If you know me for 15 years. If you know me all of my life, you know this is the largest I've ever been. And it's ridiculous. And I'm not that big. One day I'll be able to do a video full body. But I'm like, no, I have to take better care of myself. If you don't take care of yourself and you're not straight, your children are not going to be in order. They're not going to be straight. They're not going to be happy. Happy parents raise happy children. And I know single mothers have it hard. I do know that 'cause it was one day where I was just so angry. I felt like, oh, his dad is getting away with this and he's getting away with that. I will say this: as much negative things I said about him, well, it wasn't negative; it was real and honest. Many honest things I said about him. I will say this: he does pay his child support. That's more than I can say for some of these guys, but that's because I had to get the courts and stuff involved. Man, y'all need to do better. Like, I know y'all feel like birth control is our responsibility. We're not living in the 1970s. We're not living in primitive times anymore. If you don't want to get somebody pregnant, you know what you need to do. If you know you never want to have children, get a vasectomy, and that's the truth. That is the honest to God truth. If you know or a shadow beyond a shadow of a doubt, I don't want to have any children. I don't want to be able to get a woman pregnant. Get a vasectomy. It's way cheaper for you to get a vasectomy than it is for us to deal with a baby. Trust me on that. And I'm just saying, like, a lot of things that I think too, a lot of single moms, when you become a mom earlier, sometimes, you know, you have to reorganize your life, which I did have to reorganize my life, but not by much. I did get blessed to be able to move on my own. Warren motivated me to be able to say, hey, we need our own living space. We don't need to live with my parents. We need to have our own space. So that is the blessing. And the blessing is seeing a little person that you are instilling your values in. and then just watching them grow, just watching them grow up. Just watching a child grow up is just amazing to me. So, us single moms, like I said, we don't have it as hard, but we don't have it easy. And we have to have somebody that we confide in. Somebody. And sometimes it's just rough. Sometimes it's too rough. And